He let her sit at his table in a crowded cafe, unaware she was a millionaire single mom. Pretend you're with me. The morning rush at Brewhaven Cafe was brutal. Every table occupied, people hovering with steaming cups, waiting for someone, anyone, to leave. Scarlett Morrison clutched her laptop bag tighter, her blonde hair falling across her face as she scanned the packed space desperately. "Excuse me, miss." She turned toward the deep voice. A tall black man with kind eyes gestured to the empty chair across from his corner table. He was maybe 30, wearing a simple navy sweater, fingers wrapped around a plain coffee cup. "You can sit here if you need to," Damon Fletcher said, closing his worn notebook. "I'm just reading anyway." Scarlett hesitated. She'd driven 20 minutes from her Malibu estate to this ordinary cafe specifically because nobody would recognize her here. The last thing she needed was, "Thank you," she said softly, sliding into the chair. "I really appreciate it." Damon smiled and reopened his notebook. Scarlett noticed his handwriting, neat, careful, not typing on an expensive laptop like everyone else, just pen and paper. Her phone buzzed, a text from her assistant. Board meeting moved to 2 p.m. Morrison Industries stock up 3%. Also, Phoenix needs pickup at 3:30. She quickly silenced it, glancing up to see if he'd noticed. But Damon was absorbed in his writing, completely unaware that he'd just shared his table with the CEO of one of California's largest tech companies. "Are you a writer?" she asked, genuinely curious. "Sort of." He looked up and she noticed how his eyes crinkled when he smiled. "I teach 3rd grade, but I write children's stories in my spare time. Nothing published yet, just dreaming, you know." Something about his humble honesty made her chest tighten. When was the last time someone had shared a real dream with her? Not a business proposal or investment pitch, but an actual dream. "That's wonderful," she said, meaning it. "What kind of stories?" "Adventures mostly. Kids overcoming obstacles, finding courage they didn't know they had." He paused. "Guess that's what I try to teach them too. That where you come from doesn't determine where you can go." Scarlett stared at him, this stranger who just articulated something she'd been trying to teach her own daughter, something she'd forgotten herself. "Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Scarlett was actually enjoying the peaceful cafe atmosphere when her phone rang. The caller ID made her blood freeze. "Phoenix, school emergency." "I'm so sorry," she whispered to Damon, but he was already gesturing for her to take it. "Mom?" Her 8-year-old daughter's voice was shaky. "I threw up in Mrs. Patterson's class, and they said you have to come get me right now." "Oh, honey, I'll be right there," Scarlett said, already standing. Then she realized her predicament. Phoenix's private school, Westbridge Academy, was 45 minutes away in heavy traffic. If she left now... She hung up and looked at Damon helplessly. "I'm sorry, this is going to sound crazy, but..." She took a deep breath. "Would you mind pretending to be my husband for like 10 minutes? Damon's eyebrows shot up. "Excuse me. My daughter's sick at school and they require both parents to pick up during emergencies. It's this stupid policy and my ex-husband is in Tokyo and..." The words tumbled out frantically. "I just need someone to walk in with me and nod. Please. I know it's insane, but she's really sick and..." "Okay." Scarlett stopped mid-sentence. "Okay. Your little girl needs you. Let's go." Damon was already grabbing his jacket. "What's her name?" "Phoenix. She's 8 and she's probably scared," and Scarlett felt tears threatening. "You don't even know me." "I know you're a mom who loves her daughter," Damon said simply. "That's enough." As they hurried toward her car, Scarlett realized she was about to introduce an elementary school teacher to the most exclusive private school in California, a school where tuition cost more than most people's annual salary. This was either the kindest thing a stranger had ever done for her, or about to become the most embarrassing situation of her life. Maybe both. Damon's jaw nearly dropped when they pulled through the iron gates of Westbridge Academy. Manicured gardens, a fountain, buildings that looked like they belonged at Harvard, kids in actual uniforms walking around with briefcases. Holy, he whispered, then caught himself. This is where your daughter goes to school? Scarlett's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. It's a good school. Good school? This place looked like it cost more per year than Damon's entire teaching salary. Who was this woman? Listen, Scarlett said as they parked next to a row of Mercedes and BMWs. Just go with whatever I say, okay? And if anyone asks, you're Damon Morrison. Morrison? Like your last name? It's easier that way. She was already out of the car, moving fast. Please just trust me. The main office was all marble and mahogany. The receptionist, Mrs. Whitmore, looked up with a practiced smile that faltered slightly when she saw Damon. Mrs. Morrison? We called about Phoenix. She's resting in the nurse's office. Her eyes shifted between Scarlett and Damon, uncertainly. And this is my husband, Scarlett said smoothly, grabbing Damon's hand. Damon Morrison. Mrs. Whitmore's confusion was obvious. The school records clearly showed Scarlett Morrison as divorced, and this man definitely wasn't her ex-husband, Bradford Kensington III. I see, Mrs. Whitmore said slowly. Well, Phoenix is feeling better now, but she really should go home for the day. Of course, Damon said, surprising everyone by speaking up. How's she been doing in her classes? We've been worried about her adjusting to... He looked at Scarlett. The new situation. Mrs. Whitmore relaxed slightly. Oh yes, the divorce. Phoenix is very resilient. She's actually been asking if she could bring her new daddy to show and tell. Scarlett's face went crimson. Damon squeezed her hand gently. This was getting more complicated by the minute. Phoenix Morrison was nothing like Damon expected. 8 years old with her mother's blonde hair but surprisingly serious eyes, she walked into the nurse's office and stopped dead when she saw him. Who are you? She asked directly. Phoenix, honey, this is Damon, Scarlett said carefully. He's helping Mommy today. Phoenix studied him with the intensity only children possess. Are you my new dad? The nurse, Mrs. Chen, looked between the adults with barely concealed interest. This was clearly the most excitement Westbridge Academy's medical office had seen all semester. I'm a friend of your mom's, Damon said gently, crouching to Phoenix's level. I heard you weren't feeling well. I'm better now, Phoenix said, then leaned closer to whisper conspiratorially. Did Mommy tell you she's really rich, but pretends she's not? Phoenix, Scarlett gasped. It's true, Phoenix continued innocently. She drives the old car when she doesn't want people to know. And she has a big house with a swimming pool shaped like a star. And she owns a company that makes computers talk to each other. Damon looked up at Scarlett slowly. Her face was pale, caught completely off guard by her daughter's honesty. Morrison Industries, Phoenix announced proudly. Mommy's the boss of like thousands of people. But she says I'm not supposed to tell everyone because then they act weird. The silence in the nurse's office was deafening. Well, Mrs. Chen said finally, Phoenix seems fine now. Maybe just some excitement about new family dynamics. As they walked toward the car, Phoenix skipping between them, Damon processed what he'd just learned. The woman who'd asked him to pretend to be her husband wasn't just wealthy. She was Scarlett Morrison, the Scarlett Morrison, whose company's logo he saw on half the tech devices in his classroom. And she'd been sitting in a regular cafe, drinking regular coffee, like a regular person. So, he said quietly, millionaire single mom? Scarlett winced. That wasn't supposed to come out. Back at Scarlett's car, which Damon now realized was a deliberately modest Honda, not the luxury vehicle he'd expected, Phoenix climbed into the back seat, chattering happily about her stomach adventure. I should explain, Scarlett said quietly, not starting the engine yet. You don't owe me an explanation, Damon replied, but he was clearly processing everything. Though I have to ask, why were you in that cafe? I mean, don't you have people for coffee runs? Scarlett laughed, but it sounded tired. Sometimes I just want to be normal. To sit somewhere without people whispering about stock prices or trying to pitch me their startup ideas. That cafe is the only place where nobody knows who I am. She paused. Well, was the only place? Phoenix piped up from the back seat. Mommy goes there every Tuesday. She says it's where she can think without her phone making angry noises. Phoenix, sweetie, maybe don't share all of Mommy's secrets today, Scarlett said, meeting her daughter's eyes in the rearview mirror. But he's nice, Phoenix said matter-of-factly. And he didn't get weird when I told him about the money. Most grown-ups get really strange faces when they find out about the money. Damon understood now why Scarlett had looked so grateful when he'd simply offered her the chair. No questions asked? When was the last time someone had shown her basic kindness without an agenda? For what it's worth, he said softly, I would have shared my table even if I'd known. Your daughter's right. You seemed like you just needed a quiet place to sit. Scarlett looked at him, and for a moment, the careful walls she'd built seemed to crack slightly. Thank you, she whispered. For the table, for helping with Phoenix, for not making it weird. But as she started the car, they both wondered, now what? Can Damon come to our house? Phoenix asked as they drove. I want to show him my goldfish. Her name is Zara, and she does tricks. Honey, I'm sure Damon has things to do, Scarlett began. Actually, Damon interrupted, surprising himself. I'd love to meet Zara, if you don't mind. The truth was, he was curious, not about the money. Well, not entirely about the money, but about this woman who drove a Honda to hide her identity and whose daughter spoke about goldfish tricks with the same enthusiasm other kids reserved for video games. 20 minutes later, they pulled through security gates that made Westbridge Academy look modest. The Morrison estate sprawled across perfectly manicured grounds, with a main house that belonged in architectural magazines. Welcome to our home, Phoenix announced grandly, then immediately ran toward a side garden. Zara's pond is over here. Damon followed, leaving Scarlett to trail behind, clearly nervous about bringing someone into her private world. The goldfish pond was elaborate, a natural-looking water feature with a small waterfall. Phoenix knelt at the edge and made soft, clicking sounds. Amazingly, a large goldfish swam directly to her. Watch this, Phoenix whispered. She held her finger just above the water's surface and moved it in a circle. Zara followed, creating perfect rings in the water. I taught her that myself. That's incredible, Damon said, genuinely impressed. How long did it take? 3 months. Mommy said I was being silly, but I kept trying. Phoenix looked up at him seriously. Mommy works a lot, so Zara and I practiced together. Over Phoenix's head, Damon saw Scarlett's expression tighten. The guilt was written all over her face. Your mom must be very proud of you, he said gently. It takes patience to teach someone new tricks. Yeah, Phoenix said, then lowered her voice. Do you think you could teach Mommy some tricks too? Like how to not work on weekends? The question hung in the air, innocent but pointed. While Phoenix gave Zara an extended training session, Scarlett led Damon to the outdoor terrace. The view was stunning. Rolling hills, the distant ocean, grounds that seemed to stretch forever. This is beautiful, Damon said honestly. It's too much, Scarlett replied, surprising him with her bluntness. I bought it after the divorce, thinking Phoenix needed space to run and play. But mostly she just sits by that pond, talking to a goldfish. They watched Phoenix through the glass doors, still kneeling by the water, having what appeared to be a serious conversation with Zara. She's lonely, Damon observed gently. I know. Scarlett's voice was barely a whisper. I work 16-hour days building a company I'm supposed to be proud of, and my daughter's best friend is a fish. Some mother I turned out to be. Hey, Damon turned to face her. Don't do that. She's happy, she's healthy, and she clearly adores you. You heard her at school. She brags about her mom. She brags about my money. No, she brags about her mom who's strong enough to run a company and still rushes to school when she's sick. Kids aren't stupid, Scarlett. She knows the difference. Scarlett looked at him, this elementary school teacher who'd stumbled into her complicated world and somehow made sense of it in ways she couldn't. Why are you being so kind to us? She asked. You don't know us. This whole day has been insane. Damon was quiet for a moment, watching Phoenix encourage Zara through another trick. Because, he said finally, you both seem like you could use a friend who doesn't want anything from you. The simplicity of his answer nearly broke her heart. I haven't had a friend like that in years, she admitted. Well, Damon said with a small smile. Now you do. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. 3 hours later, they were still there. Phoenix had insisted on showing Damon every corner of the estate. The library where she did homework, the kitchen where their housekeeper Bristol made the world's best chocolate chip cookies, and the home theater where she watched movies all by herself, which isn't as fun as it sounds. Now they sat in the kitchen, Phoenix between them at the marble island, working on her spelling homework while Bristol bustled around preparing dinner. "Mr. Damon," Phoenix said, not looking up from her worksheet, "do you have a girlfriend?" "Phoenix," Scarlett gasped, but Damon chuckled. "No, I don't have a girlfriend," he answered honestly. "Why not? You're nice and you're not weird about money and you like goldfish." "Those are excellent qualifications," Damon agreed solemnly. "I guess I just haven't met the right person yet." Phoenix nodded wisely, then looked at her mother. "Mommy doesn't have a boyfriend either. Daddy married Atlas. That's his new wife, but Mommy says she's too busy for boyfriends." "Phoenix, that's enough personal questions," Scarlett said, but she was smiling. "I'm just saying," Phoenix continued, undeterred. "You both seem lonely, and you make Mommy laugh, which nobody does anymore except me and Zara." Bristol, who'd been silently listening, suddenly developed a coughing fit that sounded suspiciously like laughter. "Out of the mouths of babes," she muttered under her breath. The adults exchanged glances over Phoenix's head. The 8-year-old had a point. They did seem to fit together, naturally. Their conversation flowed easily. They shared similar values about family and dreams, and there was an undeniable spark between them. But the elephant in the room was impossible to ignore. She was a tech billionaire, and he was an elementary school teacher. Their worlds couldn't be more different. "Sometimes," Damon said quietly, "being lonely isn't about not having people around. It's about not having the right people around." Scarlett met his eyes across the counter, and for a moment, the kitchen seemed to hold its breath. Everything changed the next morning. Damon was grading papers at his small apartment when his phone buzzed with a news alert. Tech billionaire Scarlett Morrison's secret romance, spotted with mystery man at daughter's school. The article featured a grainy photo of them walking into Westbridge Academy, hands clasped, looking very much like a couple. The headline made it sound scandalous. His phone immediately started ringing. First his principal, then his sister Sage, then friends he hadn't heard from in months, all wanting to know if he was really dating that Morrison woman. By lunch, the story had exploded across social media. The comments were brutal. "Gold digger much? Bet he saw $signs the minute he met her. She's slumming it. What's a billionaire doing with some random teacher? This won't last a week." Different worlds, different leagues, but the worst part was the speculation about Phoenix. That poor kid's going to be so confused when this publicity stunt ends. Damon turned off his phone and drove straight to Brewhaven Café, hoping Scarlett would be there for her usual Tuesday coffee. She was, but she wasn't alone. A stern-looking woman in an expensive suit sat across from her, clearly delivering bad news. "Stock price has dropped 2% since this morning," the woman was saying. "The board is concerned about your image, especially with the IPO expansion coming up. This kind of distraction isn't helpful." "River, he's not a distraction," Scarlett said firmly. "He's a friend who helped when Phoenix was sick." "Scarlett, be realistic. You can't seriously be considering dating an elementary school teacher. The optics alone." That's when River noticed Damon approaching their table. Her expression shifted to barely concealed disdain. "Mr. Fletcher, I presume?" River stood, extending a manicured hand. "I'm River Ashford, Morrison Industries head of public relations. I think we need to talk." Damon shook her hand, but his eyes were on Scarlett. "I've seen the news," he said quietly. "It'll blow over," Scarlett said quickly. "These things always do." But they all knew it wouldn't. Not when Phoenix was involved. Not when two worlds this different collided so publicly. That evening, Damon found Phoenix sitting by Zara's pond, looking smaller than usual. "The kids at school saw the pictures," she said without looking up. "They're saying mean things about you and Mommy." Damon sat beside her on the stone ledge. "What kind of mean things? That you're only being nice to us because we have money, and that Mommy's being dumb for liking you because you're..." Phoenix struggled with the words. "Because you're different colors and different money amounts." Damon's heart ached. "What do you think?" Phoenix was quiet for a long moment, watching Zara swim lazy circles. "I think grown-ups are silly. You made Mommy laugh for the first time in forever. And you taught me that Zara is smart, not just lucky. And when I was sick, you helped, even though you didn't know us." She finally looked at him. "That sounds like love to me." "Phoenix?" Scarlett appeared at the garden gate, looking exhausted. "What are you doing out here?" "Talking to Zara about love," Phoenix said matter-of-factly. She agrees with me. Scarlett approached slowly, and Damon could see the weight of the day in her shoulders. I'm sorry about all this, she said. River thinks we should take a break until the media attention dies down. And what do you think? Damon asked. Scarlett looked at her daughter, then at him, and something shifted in her expression. I think, she said slowly, that I'm tired of living my life based on what other people expect. Phoenix is right. For the first time in years, I'm happy, really happy. And if that threatens some people, maybe those aren't the right people to have in my life. She took a deep breath. River can handle the PR. The board can handle their concerns. But I'm not giving up the best thing that's happened to us just because it doesn't fit their image of what my life should look like. Damon stood and took her hand. Are you sure? This won't be easy. The best things never are, Scarlett replied, then turned to Phoenix. What do you think, baby girl? Should we keep Mr. Damon around? Phoenix grinned, the first genuine smile they'd seen from her all day. Zara says yes, and she's very smart about these things. As the sun set over the Morrison estate, 3 people and 1 very intelligent goldfish began planning their unconventional future together, built on love, not expectations.